Rejections suck. We all know this, especially if it's something that you want really, really bad. But my first technique that I use when dealing with loads of rejection is to ask myself, right? Ask yourself, what are you making this mean? And rejection can bring up a lot of feelings, a lot of things probably from our past that we're now all of a sudden unconsciously bringing into our present. We might go back to that first big rejection from when we were a kid. And all of a sudden, the dialogue that we were using back then is there for us again. Things like, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I'll never try this again, this will never work for me, etc., etc., etc. For example, just yesterday, right, I was allowing my brain to consider giving up my speaking career. How ridiculous. I've been speaking for 9 years at some of the biggest companies in the world. And all of a sudden, my brain is saying, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you just weren't made for this type of work. Well, I'm sorry. I do not have time for that stinking thinking, and neither do you, right? You're a badass already. You've made things work for yourself. You've powered through rejections before. You're not going to let this particular rejection or this string of rejections stop you from going after your dreams. So stop and ask yourself, what are you making this mean? And maybe dig a little deeper. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from your childhood or that first major rejection you got when you were a teenager, or applying for schools or applying for a job? Look, you're not the same person you were then. And you have way more tools and experience and gifts to offer the world. So you're not going to let this no stop you, not now and not in the future. Technique number 2, don't take it personal. I know that can be so hard, especially if you wanted this thing so bad, if you wanted that sale of the house to go through, or you wanted that person to go on another date with, whatever it is, okay? Try not to take it personal. There are many other circumstances in the world that are going on in other people's lives at the time when they say no to your proposal, right? It's not always about you. Yesterday, when I started to find myself almost in that downward spiral, I started to hear myself and hear the words that I was using. So clues, if you're taking it personal or not, can be found in your language. The words that I kept saying over and over to myself, to my husband, to my friends were, I got rejected, right? And all of a sudden I swapped that for not me, but my proposal, right? My proposal was rejected over and over again, right? And all of a sudden, there was this distance between me and that sting. There was a little bit of a buffer between me and my proposal. Because listen, my work is only just one part of me. Your career is just one part of you. Your finances are one part of you. Your health is one part of you. Your relationships are one part of you. We are a holistic being. So we can't take one sliver and make it mean everything in the world to us. All right? Step 3, tip 3, whatever you want to call it, is pretty hefty. Basically, here is where we're going to build your own intervention list, right? The intervention to the downward spiral. Because think about it. When you are in that place where you're feeling really upset about rejection, or again, maybe you're hit with it one after another, and you're just devastated by it. What's happening in your body right now? Well, your brain is being hijacked by stress. So when we're in that place, we don't have the ability to think creatively or logically or think about what the next step is. So this is where we kind of want to reset, right? Your body and your mind together. So this is where in chapter 1 of The Art of Badassery, it's called Embrace the Suck. This is a little exercise that I have in there that I use so often, okay? And it's just simply called your intervention list, right? We're going to intervene in that downward spiral because you don't have time for that, right? If you are listening to this podcast, you already are a badass. You don't have time to be stuck in the muck and the self-doubt and the, unworthiness and lack of self-esteem. We don't have time for that as badass people in the world. So we got to get ourselves out of it. First, I do want to say we're not trying to bypass your feelings at all. Rejection can really hurt. Okay, it can really sting. Like I said, it could feel like a punch in the gut. It is more than okay to stop and recognize those feelings, to feel the feelings for a bit of time. It's up to you, however, how long you want to stay there. So again, back to my example of yesterday, when I got that fourth rejection, I had a little hissy fit, right? I cried, I whined to my husband a little bit. I told you I had the thoughts of thinking like, forget this, I don't know what else I would do, go get a job somewhere. I haven't had a job in 20 something years working for someone else. So I didn't even let myself go there, okay? But I allowed myself to feel all of those feelings, process them, and let them out. And at three that I can think of, probably more, three very distinct times yesterday, I chose to do things from my intervention list to get out of my head and connect with my body, again, to process those feelings even more, to downregulate my nervous system, to get control over my emotional state and not let it just run wild. Yeah? How do we do that? Okay. So on my personal intervention list, and again, in the Art of Badassery, there are two that pretty much everyone can use. And then you can make up your own, 3, 4, and 5. But I want you to have at least, let's say 3 to 5 things on this intervention list that are personal for you, right? To help you get out of that downward spiral and back into hope and possibility. The first thing is building your greatest hits list. Again, it's another exercise in the Art of Badassery in Chapter 1, Embrace the Suck. When we build our greatest hits list, essentially all you're doing, and you can start thinking about it right now, if you have a pad and a pen, pull it out, a journal, etc. If you're driving, don't do that. Just come back to this later and build your greatest hits list tonight when you're safe in bed or somewhere like that. Start to think about all of the epic achievements that you have done in your life, right? You have done epic shit before, and that just proves that you'll be able to do it again and again. Now, when we're stuck in the downward spiral, our brains, we're basically hardwired to look for proof, right? If we are telling ourselves we're a failure, our brain is going to look for proof that that's the case. So this is the intervention to that. It's the exact opposite. It's showing my brain, no, actually, I have all these amazing achievements in my life. All kinds of things, from getting into the school that you wanted to go to, or acing the test, or landing that guy's number, or getting the job that you wanted, or internship, etc. Nailing the presentation, going on your first solo trip, vacation, whatever it is. All of these things are going to be listed on your greatest hits list. Okay, for me, there are things like getting my first degree black belt and then second and third, right? I have these memories of these things that are so visceral to me that the minute I start thinking of them, I'm back there. I'm back on that mat. I'm getting handed my black belt that I've worked so hard for. What are those things for you? Friends, if you've been following even for a short amount of time, you know it is my mission in life to help women feel more strong, safe, and powerful from the streets to the boardroom. One of my very favorite products to help you, your daughters, your nieces, and even your aging relatives stay more safe is Invisiwear jewelry. How it works is each product, from bracelets to keychains to necklaces and even scrunchies, all contain an SOS built-in button that connects to an app on your cell phone. From there, if you ever feel in danger, you just hit the button twice and it will send an SOS text with a link to your location to your pre-selected emergency contacts. For a premium subscription, which is optional, for just $11.99 a month, you can then text or speak to an ADT security agent 24/7 on call to help you get the help you need exactly when you need it. So head to invisaware.com, use code SHEWARRIOR, one word, for 10% off your purchase, and stay safe, my friends. I want you to start thinking about them right now, right? Think about all the times in your life when you even surprised yourself. That's right. Keep going. Keep listing them out. And again, if you're driving, you're just thinking of them. You're just bringing them to mind. But go as far back as you can and remember all of the things, all of the amazing, amazing achievements and accomplishments that you have gathered. They're your badges of honor. They're your proof of badassery. So it's worth now just taking a look at that list. Take a big, deep breath with me and look at that list again. For each item on that list, I want you to remember it. I want you to remember it in your body. Remember that day. Go back to that day in your memory. Look around. What were you seeing? What were you feeling? What were you smelling? Who were the people around you? Look at their faces. Were they smiling at you? What were they saying to you? Hear those things again in your head. And now feel that feeling and anchor it into your body, right? When we anchor something, we can actually like squeeze your fist or hit your chest, right? Tap your heart, whatever it is to you, to remember that feeling so you can go back to it over and over again, right? Your greatest hits list is an awesome intervention. The next thing that everyone can do that's super easy on your intervention list is just a breathing exercise, right? A breathing exercise, again, to downregulate the nervous system, because all of a sudden when you're stressed, right, the brain is hijacked, there's cortisol, there's adrenaline, there's all these stress hormones pumping through your body. It's not allowing you to think logically, like I said. So we want to get back to logical and creative thinking. We can do that by breathing, right? Resetting our nervous system. There are many, many, many techniques, and you may already have your particular way of breathing to help you calm down. There's box breathing, the 4x4x4 method, 4x8x7, all of these different methods. I say the quickest and easiest one is to inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then reset. Okay, the 4x4x4 method, or call it box breathing, however you want. Let's just do one round right now. So we're going to inhale for 4 in through the nose. We're going to hold it for a count of 4, and then you're going to let it go. Ready? And inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and reset. Okay. Feel better? Feel better already, right? Quick intervention, right? That's when you don't have a whole lot of time, but you need something right in the moment. Okay, so we have our greatest hits list. We have some type of breathing technique. Number 3, 4, and 5 is up to you. I'm going to share with you my number 3. Okay. When I am super stressed, when I am reeling from rejection, right next to my desk, I have heavy dumbbells and I start lifting weights. Okay. I don't need to like change into gym clothes or go to the gym or anything like that. Right then and there, I stop what I'm doing and I start to actually pump iron, right? Bicep curls, shoulder presses, squats, all of these things. And honestly, within 3 to 5 minutes, I'm already feeling better. Why? 1, because I'm regulating my breathing, right? You have to inhale slowly, exhale on effort with every repetition that you're doing. Strength training also increases testosterone in the moment. Okay, testosterone, right? Good for confidence. It also releases dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and serotonin is the chemical that helps you feel more calm and more confident. All of those things from strength training. So why don't people do it? Probably because you think you need more time in your life to do it, instead of just like right there, picking up a weight and doing some reps. Okay, so try strength training for its mental benefits, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Another item on my personal intervention list is getting out for a walk. Again, same thing, it helps control our hormones, right? Walking, just getting outside, and it doesn't even have to be a brisk walk, just walking at any pace starts to help calm you by reducing cortisol, that stress hormone in your body. The more you walk, the more you release. The more you walk, the more you clear your head. All of a sudden, you're starting to think logically. All of a sudden, ideas start coming to you. Even better if you can walk in a place that is really pleasing to your senses. So places that smell good. When I was living in Chinatown in New York, that was not the case, right? I had to leave my neighborhood to get a place that smelled nice. Here in LA, I'm blessed to have lots of neighbors that have flowers and beautiful plants. So it's pleasing to the eyes, the senses, the smell, all of it. And I start to all of a sudden be overwhelmed sometimes with gratitude instead of the downward spiral I was in. So that is an immediate shifter for me. How about for you? What are some other things that you're going to add to your list? Ideally, they get you out of your mind and into your body. Now, also, you want to make sure that the things on your intervention list don't have negative consequences, right? So eating a pint of Jenny's ice cream, my favorite, may feel awesome in the moment, but the sugar crash that's coming later on is definitely not going to be helpful. The online shopping spree that you go on might be fun in the moment and when the things arrive, but at the end of the month, when you get your credit card statement, it might not be so fun. So choose things that have no negative consequences. Taking your dogs out for a walk, petting your cats, going for a bicycle ride, doing a yoga class, doing some journaling. What are some things that add to your list? So again, come up with 3 to 5 things on your intervention list that will help you reverse that spiral. All right, everyone, let's do a quick recap before we say goodbye. 3 ways that I deal with rejection like a badass, and 3 ways that I am offering to you to try on the next time you find yourself in that almost or full in downward spiral. Face in the Ben & Jerry's, you know the place, covers over the head, all of it. Ask yourself, what am I making this rejection mean? And is it true? Probably not. The second thing is try not to take it personal. It may not have anything to do with you. The third tip is, what can I do right now to get me out of the downward spiral and back up, right, into hope, possibility, and creation? That is your intervention list. Choose 3 to 5 things, pick one, and do it right now. All right, I want you to report back. Let me know how these techniques work for you. I want to hear, what are you facing right now as far as rejections, and how is it making you feel, and how can you put these tips to use? Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, leave a review if you feel called to, and you can buy a copy of The Art of Badassery, Unleash Your Mojo with Wisdom of the Dojo on the Zon. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble or in your favorite local bookstore for more tips and tricks and ways to feel like a badass, not just today, but every single day of your life, because you deserve it. And I love you. Bye.